What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Raider Critique. This is your post-game review for Week 15 against the New England Patriots and Las Vegas. And we came out on top, 30-24, improving the record to 6-8, while the Patriots fall to 7-7. Man, this was a great win, and as you can tell by looking at the last play of the game, this team knows exactly how to put us into pretty much cardiac arrest. What I'd like to do is move on over to the stats, because of course you guys know how I always like to do it. Salute everybody who has joined me this evening, and hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate during this time of year. Raider Critique says what's up, man. Happy holidays to every single one of you. Let's move on over into the stats right here. Now, Mac Jones went 13 of 31 for 112 yards at a 3.6 yard average. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He had a QBR of 12.2 with a rating of 52.1. Derek Carr went 20 of 38 for 231 yards, 6.1 yard average, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that actually ended up being a pick 6. He was sacked 3 times for 20 yards, had a quarterback rating of 47.2 with an overall rating of 86.6. Now the tall tale sign right here is in rushing. Josh Jacobs did his normal deal. He didn't break 100 this game, but he had 22 carries for 93 yards at a 4.2 yard average. He did not score this game. And then Zamir White, 1 carry for 4 yards at a 4 yard average, of course. And then, of course, it was just a 4 yard run that he took. But if you go and look over here at New England, Stevenson had 19 carries for 172 yards, 9.1 yard average, and 1 touchdown. His longest rush being 34 yards. Pierre Strong, 4 carries for 25. Kevin Harris, 5 for 19. Mac Jones, 4 for 10. 6 being his long. He averaged at 2.5. And then Jacoby Myers, 0 for -20. And a -20 was his long. Now, the receiving looked fairly decent this game. Keelan Cole was targeted twice, 2 receptions for 50 yards, 25 average, and 1 touchdown. Darren Waller, who showed his face, man, 3 targets, 3 receptions for 48 yards, 16 yard average, 1 touchdown, 25 being his long. Mac Hollins, 4 for 40 and a touchdown, 10 yard average, 13 being his long. He was targeted 8 times. Devontae Adams had 4 catches on 9 targets for 28 yards. He was due to have a slump game sooner or later because he's been wrecking shop for pretty much all season long. He was due to have a game like this. His longest reception was 11 yards. And then Foster Moreau, 2 for 20. Josh Jacobs, 2 for 17. Hunter Renfrow, 1 for 14. And Amir Abdullah, 2 for 14. Targeted twice. Fumbles. Derek Carr had a fumble, but we didn't lose it. Josh Jacobs also had a fumble, but it was recovered. Chandler Jones had a fumble recovery, and Jordan Meredith had a fumble recovery as well. We had 2 fumbles and we had 3 fumble recoveries. Now our leading tackler was Luke Masterson with 11 total, 5 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Denzel Perryman, 9 total tackles, 8 solo. 1 of those tackles was for a loss. Deron Harmon, who's actually nursing a shoulder injury at the moment, 5 total tackles, 3 solo. Max Crosby, 5 total tackles, 2 solo. All right, he had 3 quarterback hits. Kyle Pecco, 4 total, 3 solo. Trayvon Morig, 4 tackle, 2 solo. Nate Hobbs, 4 tackle, 1 solo. Roger Teamer, 3 tackle, 1 solo. Tyler Hall, 3 tackle, 1 solo, and 1 pass deflection. Chandler Jones had 2 total tackles. Both of those were solo and 2 pass deflections. 2 quarterback hits and a touchdown, just like in the footage we saw in case you did not see the game at the beginning of this live. Jerry Tillery, 2 tackles, 2 solo. Belial Nichols had 2 tackles, 1 solo. Brandon Bolden, 1 tackle, 1 solo. And basically, it just rounds all the way out to where the team had 62 total tackles. 34 of those were solo. We had 2 tackles for a loss, 6 quarterback hits, or 6 pass deflections, and 5 quarterback hits, along with 1 defensive touchdown, which was absolutely everything that we could have ever asked for out of this team. Amir Abdullah had 5 returns for 111 yards. I think he's getting ready to break a huge one soon. Hopefully he gets to put one to the house. We have not seen that since Jacoby Ford, so it would be nice to see Amir Abdullah. And with numbers like this, man, I'm sure he's about to break one soon. 22.2 yard average, 30 being his longest return of the day. Hunter Renfrow, it's nice to see him back there returning punts, even though I was always a firm believer that he shouldn't be back there. But after seeing everything else that we've seen before Hunter Renfrow got back, it is a pleasure to see him back there. He had 3 returns for 20 yards. He didn't bobble the ball at all. It was sure-handed. He caught the ball. You know, his longest return being 12 yards at a 6.7 yard average. Daniel Carlson had 1 field goal, and he went 3 for 3 on extra points. His field goal was 49 yards. And A.J. Cole had 7 punts for 324 yards at a 46.3 yard average, with 2 of those inside the 20, 50 being his longest punt of the day. So let's hop back on over to the slides. What's going on, Alice Ghost? What's going on, Gord, man? It's good to see y'all here. We'll transition right back over here. So we literally snake away a win from the New England Patriots, 30-24, improving the record to 6-8. And it definitely could not have been done without Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller being back a part of this lineup. Now, it looks totally different, Raider Nation, having these 2 guys out there. Definitely having options, and as you can see in the stat books, it showed, because Davante Adams, even though being targeted 9 times, Davante Adams only had 4 receptions for 28 yards, while Darren Waller did get over 40 yards. You know what I mean? And a touchdown. So, you know, it was nice to see Darren Waller back. I know I've talked a lot of smack about him, but I'll tell you what, with a healthy Darren Waller and a healthy Hunter Renfrow in this lineup, it definitely makes this offense a lot more exciting to watch. And also, it gives Derek Carr a lot more options to get the ball out to, instead of just the Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs show. Now, Josh Jacobs had a hell of a game, eclipsing 90 yards again this week. Josh Jacobs is literally on the pace of being like one of the greatest Raider rushers of all time. And it's great to see him out there, but it's also good to know that he's got backup in Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Mac Hollins, Davante Adams, Foster Moreau, Amir Abdullah. These guys have been showing up all year long, and this team, at least from this standpoint, man, I'm hoping it's all going to start coming together. But, man, this team has really shown some just glaring issues, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Let me hop right back over here to the stats. And I want to look at a glaring stat that just sticks right out to me. All right? Look at the 3rd quarter up here. All right, we popped out so hot, having 17 points in the first half, with this big goose egg right here in the 3rd quarter. This right here is where heart attacks begin to happen, Raider Nation. Is when you see your team come out extremely hot. They're running like a well-oiled machine, to come out in the second half, at the beginning of the second half, like they decided to go back and take a nap during halftime, and come out and lay a 0 in the 3rd quarter. I mean, this is why these games even stay close. That is one glaring thing that I can definitely see, because we definitely did not look like a very good team in the 3rd quarter. We literally fell apart in the 3rd quarter, and we let New England get right back into it. And you saw their offensive stats. Their offensive stats were not that great. And literally, they were having a hard time moving the ball, except for the fact that old Stevenson was running the ball down our throats. Our defensive line was literally getting pushed into the second level, opening holes that Stevenson literally could have drove his car through, that they were so wide open. Literally. And they killed us with the run this week. But we still got the win, and we wouldn't have got the win without the MVP of the game. The MVP of the game, because I literally cannot sit there and say that one person won this game, because it was definitely a team effort. Okay, it was definitely a team effort to sit there and not lay a big goose egg in the third quarter, but it also was a team effort to go ahead and get those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, putting us ahead and ultimately winning this game. We could easily give it to Chandler Jones, who wound up intercepting the ball from Jacoby Myers, who threw it. What we saw it on the last play of the game. You saw it, threw it right straight to him. And then Chandler Jones proceeds to stiff arm of justice, Mac Jones, to the ground, hurdling him and ultimately scoring the game-winning touchdown. We could easily give it to Chandler Jones. Heck, we could even give it to the man who scored the touchdown to tie the game, Keelan Cole. And yes, Raider Nation, we've heard all about it this week. They've talked all that smack about how it wasn't a catch, and the angle that they're looking at is obviously not this angle, which actually shows where his foot is, where the sideline is. And if you also need any more proof about it, you can go to the actual footage of the video where you see black paint get kicked up. No white paint gets kicked up at all, which would ultimately mean that would be the sideline. So the refs finally made the right call. It is not a conspiracy. It shows right there. It was a touchdown. It was a damn good catch. And Keelan Cole, with as much flack as he's caught this year for not catching the ball, made a clutch catch to tie the game. And then what New England did after that circus show act of a play, is ultimately what won the game. So, I mean, we could easily give it to Cole. We could easily give it to Chandler Jones. Or we could give it to Jacoby Myers, who, by the way, was suffering all week, the week prior to the game, in concussion protocol. And, I mean, I don't know who cleared him. I honestly don't know. But my MVP of the game isn't even a Raider at all. My MVP of the game is this stupid motherfucker for trying to throw the ball back to the quarterback like he was going to make some miraculous play. And I think he took one too many hits to the head, because I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I'm 42 years old. I've been watching football since like 86. You know what? I've never seen anything like that before. And for him to just throw the ball like that, well, Merry Christmas to the Raiders, because ultimately, you know, we did win this game, but they gift wrapped it in a nice big red bow for us, and we ultimately took it, unwrapped it, and now we are enjoying our Christmas gift from the New England Patriots. So, I mean, a lot of people might disagree with that, but yeah, I think the MVP, I mean, if it has to be a Raider, yeah, I'll give it to, I'll give it to Keelan Cole. You know what I mean? I'll give it to Keelan Cole, but ultimately I think it's Jacoby. I think Jacoby Myers is the MVP of this game. And it might sound kind of biased, but hey, just win, baby. I don't care how we win as long as we do it. So, I mean, hey, and I'm going to shout out everybody in the chat, man. What's up, Gord? What's going on, D-Menace, Al's Ghost, my mod, Robert Pena. Man, it's good to see all y'all here, man, and thank you for stopping in for another episode of the Raider Critique. But yeah, definitely, this was a definite win game for this organization, this franchise. How we won, it doesn't really matter, but at least we won. But I can tell you this, man. I'm enjoying it. I can enjoy this win. But now we have a familiar foe at a familiar time of year in ultimately probably some of the coldest, most frigid weather that this team has probably ever felt. And you know exactly who I'm talking about, Raider Nation, especially if you've been here a while. This familiar foe is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are I think they're like either 3, they're not very good. Let me go ahead and shoot on over here because I've got the pregame stats for Week 16 right here on the Raider Critique. And we're going to hop right on over to it, man. We're going to go look at the pregame prediction on 2 sites. First is going to be ESPN, like we always go to. So let me go ahead and move it on over here to the desktop. And we will shift that on over this way. Now, as this is ESPN, and we are a 55.9% favorite, 2.5-point favorite on the spread, and the over/under is 38.5. You know what I mean? This right here kind of explains, our stats. Derek Carr, he's well over 3,000 yards passing. You know what I mean? Then you got Kenny Pickett over here, who's got 191 completions for 204 yards for 1,797 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Now, of course, Josh Jacobs leads the league in rushing with 291 carries for 1,495 yards. And then Najee Harris, which is a dude that I'm confused with the Harris on New England. He actually plays for the Steelers. He's got 211 carries for 790 yards and 6 touchdowns. Their leading receiver is D. Johnson, with 77 receptions and for 745 yards. I don't even know that dude's first name. And then, of course, our leading receiver, which is Devontae Adams, at, I want to say that's 58 receptions for 1,275 yards and 12 touchdowns. Or is that 86? I don't know, man. I actually really should be wearing my glasses reading this fine print. Now, injury report, Jackson Barton, offensive tackle. All of our guys are questionable. That is Jackson Barton, Alex Bars, Rock Ya-Sin, Deron Harmon, and Zamir White. All the questionables on Pittsburgh is Kenny Pickett, Terrell Edmonds, Derek Watt, Najee Harris, and Deontay Johnson. I guess that's the dude's name, is Deontay Johnson. So the Raiders are averaging 24.1 points per game, while the Steelers are averaging 17.9. We are giving up 24.1 points per game, while the Steelers are used to giving up at least 22.1 points per game. Total yards, we've given up 370 on average per game, while they've given up 334. Passing yards has been 244.6 for us, 218.1 for them, and yards rushing for us is 126.2 to their 116.1. Now, the yards allowed, the Raiders have allowed 373.9 per game on average, while the Steelers have averaged 361.3. Passing yards allowed, the Raiders have allowed 256.5 on average, while the Steelers have averaged 252.3. Rush yards allowed, Raiders are giving up more by 117.4, while the Steelers are giving up at 109 even. Now, this is what I like going down here and looking at. And I'm going to get to this over here in a second, too. But the Raiders' last 5, we are 4-1. Only loss coming to that Baker Mayfield debacle with the Rams out in L.A., while the Steelers are 3-2, falling to Baltimore and Cincinnati, but beating Indianapolis, Atlanta, and Carolina. Now, at the game, during the time, because it's on Saturday, It is going to be a whopping 18 degrees with the wind chill, so it's going to be ultimately extremely cold at this game. Now, going over to Pro Football Reference, looking at Pittsburgh. All right. Team stats, they average about 4,400. Well, they've got 4,450 yards total on 906 plays. Their yards per play on average is 4.9 yards. They've got 17 turnovers. All right. They've gotten a total of 281 first downs. And now their quarterback play is 310 completions on 476 attempts for 2,825 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Their net yards per average is 5.5 yards, and they have 157 first downs. All right. Now, the rushing, they have 395 attempts for 1,625 yards and 14 touchdowns, with a yard per average of 4.1. They have 100 first downs, and then they have 81 penalties for 613 yards. All right, let's drop down here to their opponents' stats. Their opponents have scored 309 points against them. They have also put up 4,869 yards in total on 864 plays. The yards per play that they are giving up is 5.6 yards. They've gained 258 first downs or 268 first downs, and they've had 283 completions on 482 attempts for 3,343 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Their net yards on average is 6.8 yards is what the opponents are averaging. With 168 first downs on rushing, they've ran for 373 attempts for 1,526 yards and 7 touchdowns with a yard per average of 4.1. Now, penalties, pretty much about the same. 81 penalties against their team, against their opponents for about 602 yards. So when you look at that, Raider Nation, this team is definitely beatable. Their defense is obviously the strong suit. When you go look at the Raiders team stats, they've scored 338 points with a total yards of 5,013 on 864 plays. That's a 5.8 yard per play average with 14 touchdowns or 14 turnovers. Yeah, 14 turnovers. That's 280 first downs passing from 298 completions on 486 attempts for 3,246 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Net yard average 6.3, and then rushing is 156 first downs, 352 attempts, 1,767 yards with 11 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per average. All right? Penalties is what's killing us, though. 99 penalties, 816 yards. While our opponents have only got about 76 penalties total for 609 yards, which is basically average. So we are definitely leading the league in penalty yards and penalties. I'm pretty sure we've got to be pretty low on that. Now, our league offensive rank, points for, is 10th. League rank defense, 23rd. And this is from Pro Football Reference. If we look at Pittsburgh, their league rank offense is 27th. All right, they're 26th in yards, 27th pretty much total. League rank defense, 13th. So we're going in to, this game that is pretty much the anniversary of the Immaculate Deception against a familiar foe that we've been whipping up on for the past couple years. We beat up on Ben Roethlisberger a couple years ago. You know what I mean? And we have beaten them more often than not. If I do remember right, I do believe that we are ahead in the um, ahead in this rivalry when it comes to records. But nothing could have ever prepared Raider Nation for what happened today. When Franco Harris, the player who got the ball on the immaculate deception, scored the winning touchdown to move on, sending the Raiders home. And he's done a lot for the NFL. Now, as much as I hate that play and I hate how it hurt our organization and how upset we've been about it all these years, YouTube's got a hell of a documentary. The Raiders put up a hell of a documentary on YouTube that if you haven't went and watched it, you need to go watch it. It's excellently done, and it explains an awful lot, especially on why the Raiders organization feels the same way about that play. Back then, the same way we still feel about it now. You know what I mean? But we lost Franco Harris, and I do believe it was today, a week before the anniversary of the Immaculate Deception. And my heart and my prayers go out to the Harris family. Lost an NFL great. He literally made his name off of us, but he is an NFL great all the same, and he also did a bunch more for the NFL and for the players, and for, and from what I hear, from all the documentaries and all the NFL footage that I get the pleasure of sitting down and watching, the guy was beloved all over the league by everybody, and he is going to be surely missed. So rest in peace, Franco Harris. I mean, it's fitting that it happens a week prior to the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Deception. But, it kind of makes me wonder on if this Pittsburgh team is going to rally because of this, Raider Nation. And it very well could possibly do that for this Pittsburgh Steelers organization and team that we're getting ready to face in these icy cold temperatures that we are about to experience in Pittsburgh on Saturday, Christmas Eve. You can't get no better than that. It's football weather, baby. And I want to thank everybody for subbing to the channel. I am 21 subs away from 500, and it's thanks to all of you. And I really wanted to make sure I got that out. It's a milestone to even be this close to 500, and I hope I get there soon. I hope I can get there by the end of the season. You guys already know it's never always been about the sub count, but it would be nice to hit at least half the century mark to at least, I don't know, kind of solidify on, the reason why I put the time into this channel for all of you, because there is plenty of Raider content providers out there who provide this content, if not better content. They might not have my devil air opinion, but, they do produce really good content. And just for you guys coming here and subscribing to me and coming and seeing me do this every week during the season, and then every time off-season news happens, it humbles me and it warms my heart that every single one of y'all are that invested into having the truth told to you as real as I can get it, without trying to drink the corporate Kool-Aid that mostly the organization and the NFL tries to feed us, when they're all, we already know they're always trying to bullshit the Raider Nation, man. And they're always trying to bullshit us. And they do it all the time. Look at how many times Max Crosby gets held and nobody throws a flag. You can literally take Max Crosby down with a guillotine choke, and they will not throw a flag. And they were doing it all game, this game too. And we're at home, We're lucky Keelan Cole came down with 2 feet inbounds and it flang up that black paint like that, because if it wouldn't have, they would have used that one footage that they got overhead where it was behind the play, and they would have used that as this is what it was. He was out of bounds, and we would have never got that touchdown. So thank goodness, man, Keelan Cole was sure-footed and had his feet down in the right spot. That's real talk, man. So let's hop on over here to the Shield. For some reason, my video capture device wasn't on over there. So I want to thank everybody for stopping in, and I want to shout out the chat right quick and get all y'all shouted out here, man, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be doing this channel, man. But thank you again for stopping by this pretty much post-game Week 15 and pre-game Week 16 show on the Raider Critique, your Christmas episode, and I hope everybody is enjoying the Christmas present that the New England Patriots gave to this Raiders team, propelling our record up to 6-8, basically giving this team the win. And hey, I'll take it any day of the week. I don't care how we win. It's all about just win, baby. And I hope to God they talk about this game for years on end, the same way they talked about the tuck rule for so many years. Now, isn't it fitting that it was an ex-Patriot who wound up taking the ball to the house for the game-winning touchdown? I mean, you really can't write a storyline any better than that, Raider Nation. What's going on, everybody, man? Al's Ghost, Dominis. What's going on, man? Robert Pena, Gord Peterson. Man, all my brothers are here. My moderator, Robert Pena. Gotta make sure I get everybody. Nutty Raider Nate, hey, it's good to see you, brother. Herman, it's good to see you. Yeah, welcome back. Hey, it's a great win, man. It feels really good to actually know that, hey, at least this team can play with some tenacity. We've got to clean it up, though, in the third quarter. We've got to learn to play all 4 quarters, Raider Nation. And what I don't understand is why this team does not play all 4 quarters, and why they decide to try to put us into heart attack mode every single time they put their feet on the field. And I mean, hey, that's a good score prediction there, Gord. 20-10. Now look, the only thing that I worry about is if you've been watching this team for a long time, you already know the 9 seasons that we've watched Derek Carr play, he does not play good in the cold. He really never has. And I don't know what it is. And I know that they asked him about it in the press conference about, playing in the cold. And, of course, it's the same answer that we get all the time. Well, everybody's got to play in the cold, and, everybody's got to do it. So, we just get out there and we do it. And I mean, the only thing it really just shows is, your mentality, how you play in the cold. You're going to have to make plays regardless of what temperature it is. Everybody's got to play in that. And this field, more than likely, will be frozen. It's going to be frozen tundra at its finest. It's probably going to be a very icy game, because if you think about it, if the weather predictions are true, it is raining its ass off right now in Pittsburgh. And then tomorrow, it's going to snow. Okay? And then after that, it is going to be clear and well below zero, with a wind chill putting it below zero, which is going to ice all of that moisture over. Everything that's on the field, any type of moisture, is going to ice that over, making that field extremely hard. And I'm sorry, Pittsburgh, even if it's not Heinz Field, I still don't think that they have heated turf. So, it's going to be a really hard field, and it's going to be really windy. So that's going to hurt the passing game. It could possibly hurt the kicking game. It could be a very low-scoring game due to weather. And hey, as long as we can get that W against Pittsburgh, it would be very nice to see that happen. Now, 16-13, that's probably more like it. You know what I mean? Cash Lord, what's going on, man? Yep, and I've got Cash Lord Raider in my fantasy league this week. I've enjoyed my first round bye in the playoffs. But now I have to go against one of the scariest teams in Sultan's Fantasy League. And it's owned by Cash Lord Raider. And I'm going to go ahead and salute to you now, bro. I hope we have a good game this week. And may the best team win. And the best football mind win. But it's really good to see all y'all here. But, man, hey, this is all I got. I wanted to hurry up and get this done. I really didn't want to come in and go live while Captain Jack and Raiders Fan Radio were on. But that's why I kicked it off to about 7:30. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure that, I got toward, I wanted to watch half the show too. I'm a huge Raiders Fan Radio fan. So you'll catch me in the chat all the time over there. And I normally religiously show up every Wednesday to watch the show. So I really did not want to kind of stomp on their toes, but I needed to hurry up and get this episode done to where I can go ahead and, just like with the rest of all of you, go and enjoy your families and enjoy your time during this wonderful holiday season that we all get to experience right here in 2022. You know what I mean? With all of our loved ones and our family members, and hey, all of y'all are my extended family too. You are Raider Nation, and Raider Nation has always been family to me. That's what I mean when I always say, even if the team can't be victorious, we're always victorious in the parking lot. That doesn't have anything to really do with fighting. It has to do that we show up, and we show up in huge numbers, and our family members are always going to represent, and we show up in a major fashion. You know what I'm saying? And hey, only Raider Nation really does that. So I'm extremely happy that I am a part of this family, and I wouldn't forget all of you. No joke about that, man. I wouldn't forget about all y'all, because y'all is what makes football. It's what makes this Raiders team, when they're not playing so damn well, all worthwhile into coming on here and doing these shows. It really is. It really is, and I appreciate every single one of y'all, man. I really do. And I hope you guys are enjoying this holiday season. It's gotten real cold down here. It's supposed to drop down to 17 degrees tomorrow here in Texas. And I'm going to be out there cleaning swimming pools in 17-degree weather. So it's going to be really interesting tomorrow. I guess I better go ahead and find myself some waterproof gloves, because I think tomorrow is probably going to really suck. But it's going to be well worth it if we come away with a victory on Saturday against this Steelers team, who really doesn't look all that good, man. If you really look at Kenny Pickett and their wide receiver core, I mean, really, who do they got? Chase Claypool? I mean, they got the Deontay Robinson, Deontay Harris, what was his name? I mean, they don't really scare me. But what does scare me is this weather, and they're used to playing in it, and we're not. Our Raiders team is not used to playing in it. We have individual players who are used to playing in it. Raider Ben, man, thank you for stopping in, brother. I still got to get you your patch, man. You need to hit me up on Instagram. And just like all the rest of y'all, I think I sent every one of you who have been in here, except there might be a couple guys in here. Nutty Raider Nate, you need to hit me up for a patch, man. Hit me up on Instagram. I know Dirty 30 still has not hit me up through email. Dirty 30, you need to hit me up through email to where I can get you your patch, bro. But hell yeah, man. I mean, like, we sit there and the way we play in cold weather kind of scares me, because we ain't used to it. Okay, you emailed me? I'm gonna have to go back there and look at it, bro. As a matter, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back there and look at it. I hope you sent it to the right one. Was it all lowercase letters? Hey, send it again just in case. Alice Ghost. But when we play in cold weather, with us playing in a dome now, we're not really, besides going and playing in away games. Oh shit, see, Claypool went to the Bears. Okay, so who the hell do they have? You know what I mean? Like who should we really be scared of over there that they're going to be throwing the ball to? If anything, we need to stack the box and be worried about the run, because Najee could, if he decides to play, he could be a game changer, right? You know, I mean, that's what's up. I will definitely look for it. And yeah, man, hit me up on IG. But I mean, really, who do they have? Who do they have that we really should be scared of? If anything, we need to be scared of ourselves. We need to be scared about how this team is going to play, because these motherfuckers are scary. It's like Halloween, man. You never know what team you're going to get out of these guys. It could be butterflies and rainbows and everything is working like a poetry in motion, or it could be an absolute dumpster fire, car wreck, apartment complex fire. I mean, you name it. You know, we have experienced the worst and best of both worlds just in this season alone. So, and with the weather coming in, this could, if I'm going to critique anything, we need to really, really focus and hunker down as a team. Make sure that we're making the right play calls. Now, I see a lot of people out there giving Derek Carr a lot of hell about that pick six. Look, that was just a great-ass play. I ain't gonna, hey, and I'm a Derek Carr lover, but look, that was a great-ass play. That was a damn good play, but dude, Duggar or whatever his name is, dude, that was a heads-up fucking play. Like, I hope that Bill Belichick and his front office kind of let that dude slip through the cracks, because I ultimately, low-key would like to go get that guy, because that was such a hell of a heads-up play. And when you're looking at that and it's against your own team, it's hard to sit back and be like, damn, that was a really good play. You know what I mean? And talk good, especially about an opposing player on the other team who happens to be on the Patriots of all teams. It's kind of hard to even want to give them any acknowledgement, but that was a really damn good play. You know what I mean? And Derek Carr knew, again, not to try that bullshit again. You know what I mean? I understand that we're going to try to run screen passes and do things like that, but man, I mean, it's not like he was really, he got read like a book. You know what I mean? But he didn't really look like that he was going to do that. I couldn't tell he was about to do it until he let go of the ball. And he did. He slung it over there. It's just, Duggar read that play like a book and just hopped all over it. Now, it did shift the momentum, that's for sure. But for us to be able to go down and score a touchdown in the waning seconds of the second quarter, and then come out in the third quarter and not score any points at all, that's absolutely unacceptable. And how are we supposed to beat other teams? Other teams who are supposed to be of playoff caliber, laying goose eggs in the third quarter. We got to be able to play four quarters, and that's what kills me. And I don't see us playing four quarters unless it's against a losing effort where we get screwed, like what happened when we played the Chiefs last time. So I mean, that's what bothers me the most. Is that I would really like to see this team play consistent football. But I'm happy we won. I'm extremely happy we won, so I'm never going to dog this team for winning at all whatsoever. But we should have, this game should have never even been close. We are a much better team on paper. We are a much better team on the field. All we have to do is execute better. Bottom line, execute better. And that's in every position. Now, providing that we don't have Alex Bars. Okay? We don't have, Jermaine Illuminor was hurt, I believe, last week. He played a little bit this week. Our offensive line is hurt to the point to where we went and picked up a free agent named Grossu, and he was starting, pretty much getting like the Baker Mayfield treatment. He was starting at the guard position. We're piecing together an offensive line here just to try to keep Derek Carr clean, and he was still sacked 3 times for 20 yards. And yeah, he had that one interception. that one interception that costed us 6 points and also shifted the momentum to our opponent. I mean, literally, that's what they did. And then we lay that goose egg in the third quarter. So, I mean, if we're going to be trying to get and make it to the playoffs, we literally have to play all 4 quarters. But that's all I got for you, Raider Nation, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if it's your first time here, man, hit that thumbs up or the thumbs down. It doesn't matter, just as long as you help the algorithms, man. Let this channel get out to more people like yourself, to where everybody can know the critiques and the opinions of myself, Raider Gun, right here on the Raider Critique, where we tell the truth with intensity and we don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid. And we just try to keep it real with everybody here with the Raider Nation, and we try to keep that culture that the Raider Nation is well known for and what strives to make us better through our lives each and every day that we walk on this wonderful planet that we call Earth. Now, I promised everybody next time I got on camera I would explain on why I did not do a pregame video. Well, things have not articulated to the point yet to where I'm able to talk about it. Now, next time I come on this camera, and hopefully it's during a Raiders victory, that I will find out the news that I am hopefully going to get by the end of the week, and then I will be able to share it with all of you. And I can't wait to share this wonderful news with everybody, because I know 2022 has been an up and down year for everybody. And if you go and if you don't believe me, just go and ask your fellow peer, go and ask your neighbor, go and ask one of your family members, go and ask one of your Raider Nation podcasters or one of your Raider Nation YouTubers. It has been an up and down year for every single solitary one of us, and for every single one of us to be able to push through and make it through every day, to go out there and win at life. You know what I'm saying? Regardless on what curveballs are thrown at us. You know, I salute every single one of you, because I know a lot of us have lost loved ones this year. I know a lot of us have, you know, finally gotten back to work on good aspects this year. You know what I mean? It has been up and down for every single solitary person. And, you know, we've all watched prices go up due to inflation, which is making it harder to buy Christmas presents this year. You know, we're all going through it, and it's just been a very weird up and down year, just like the weather right here in 2022. And, you know, it's kind of like this football team. This football team has had its up times, it's had its down times, and it looks like we're going right back on the upside again with Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow back in the mix. As long as we are not running into each other out there in the field, running our routes, I think we are going to be a dangerous team from here on out. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers, then we've got the 49ers, who look really good with a third-string quarterback right now, in a guy that we never even thought that we would even be saying his name as playing, as being on the field. And then, of course, our division rival, the Kansas City Chiefs, Week 18. So we're going to take it one game at a time, Raider Nation, and let's hope that we can get through this frozen tundra game against these Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 16, 2022, Saturday, Christmas Eve, and solidify ourselves with our own Christmas present by improving our record to 7-8. Now, until then, Raider Nation, I'm the Raider Critique, man. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. We might actually do a podcast on Friday with the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast. If it does pop up, hey, pop over to the Hardcore Raider channel right here on YouTube, and it'll also be streamed and mirrored right here on the Raider Critique. So just to give y'all more content if you need it, we're going to be out here, man. We're going to be talking more about this game, more about the weather, and we'll get down into a more in-depth breakdown with my brothers and your brothers too, Hardcore Raider and Grimy Raider Dave, for the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast Friday evening. I don't know what time, but hey, I'll post it when I get it. Now, I want to salute everybody in here, man, before I get out of here. D Menace, Raider Ben, Nutty Raider Nate, Al's Ghost, Gord Pedersen, Cash Lord Raider, Nutty Raider Nate, Herman Munster, D-Menace Robert Pena, all of my brothers and sisters right here, man. Thank you for stopping in. This has been your post-game review and your pre-game show right here on the Raider Critique for weeks 15 and 16. The aftermath of the circus game is what I'm going to call it. The Raiders beat the Patriots 30-24. And then, of course, your Week 16 pre-show for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Deception in Pittsburgh with our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Now, it's just like I say at the end of every show. Tida, man, what's going on, bro? Thank you for stopping in, and I'm going to send you a patch. Please hit me up on Instagram at The Raider Critique, and if you don't have an Instagram, you can find me on Twitter. You know what I mean? It's right here. You can find me on Twitter at InGun421, or you can also email me at nathangunn@live.com. Now, that's all lowercase letters, and gun is spelt with 2 N's. So anyway, I'm going to get on out of here, man. I got some Christmas shopping I've actually got to run and go do. I'm totally late with doing all this shit, and I got to go do it now. So until then, everybody knows it's Raider Nation for life. We definitely had that gift wrapped for us by the Patriots, but thank goodness our team played good enough to take advantage and win that game in Vegas against the Patriots, man. So let's go ahead and look on and look forward to these Pittsburgh Steelers. We need 3 more wins to even be able to think that we're going to be making it to the playoffs this year. And by God, I think this team can actually do it.